जूते फटे पहनकर आसमान पे चढ़े थे।
अच्छा।
जूते फटे पहनकर आसमान पे चढ़े थे, हौसले हमारे हमेशा औकात से बड़े थे।
Wow.
Link pen is probably in every house of probably entire India तो है ही, maybe in the world also.
No, today's generation they don't care. I mean, ठीक है, you know, fathers are like friends.
Failure is always a stepping stone towards success. So,
You know, I think it is important for everyone to make mistakes. I had the dream of having a stationery retail chain stores across the country.
Yes.
Copying is not ethical.
Yes.
You should be happy that they are copying your
Yes.
product. In my company also, कभी कोई बोलता है कि सर ये पॉसिबल नहीं है, तो मैं ये बोलता हूँ तब तो ये करना ही है. I don't know much about the industry. I cannot predict which product will be successful, which will not. जो नंबर 1 ब्रांड है वो भी हमारा प्रोडक्ट का कॉपी कर लेता है. Indian products are getting recognition, acceptance. जो मार्केट रियलिटीज है वो फील्ड में ही आप सीख पाते हो.
Hello viewers and welcome to another episode of OMG, Oh My Gita podcast. So today I'm not going to introduce our guest officially or formally because for you he may be the man behind Pentonic and the managing director of Linc Limited, but for me he is Deepak Bhaiya. Hello Bhaiya.
Hi.
So Bhaiya, I so vividly remember our childhood memories. You know, at that time Deepak Bhaiya and I used to stay in the same residential complex. And at that time, going out was not in fashion, and the entire building was only our entire life.
Right, absolutely.
So the activities that we did, the sporting activities, especially badminton,
Right.
and then the cultural activities and the fun fiesta. So of course, after that, life happened, and we went on to our own respective journeys. And like it's almost been 2 or 3 decades that we've hardly got a chance to interact. So when Antara told me that you have graciously accepted to come on the podcast, all those memories just flooded into my mind. So it's going to be a great podcast. Thank you so much once again. And along with, of course, we'll discuss business and leadership, but we'll also discuss and try to explore how the Bhagavad Gita comes alive in our daily lives, in the decisions that we take, in the struggles that we face, and ultimately the life that we choose. So welcome once again, Bhaiya. Thank you so much.
Thank you Nishant.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start with a beautiful शायरी, little couplet, which goes like, मंजिल तो मिल ही जाती है मगर भटकते भटकते ही सही, गुमराह तो वे लोग हैं जो घर से निकले ही नहीं. And so whenever I think about this couplet, मुझे बिल्कुल आपकी ही जर्नी याद आती है. Because कितने बार हम सोचते हैं कि हमें ये हासिल करना है, वो हासिल करना है, I want to reach this destination, but then कितने बार हमारी माइंड ही हमारी सबसे बड़ी दुश्मन बन जाती है. And we start thinking कि नहीं यार कैसे होगा, नहीं वो कुछ बोल देगा, नहीं वो मजाक उड़ाएगा. But today we have a person who actually left home, जिन्होंने अपने कंपनी को वो इस मुकाम तक लेके गए, स्पेशली एट अ टाइम व्हेन द like in your own words that you said that the pen industry was not considered the most glamorous industry.
Right.
But he was the boy, he was the man who had the strength to, with his sheer strength, determination to get Shah Rukh Khan on the campaign to be a sponsor for IPLs. So without any further ado and without leaking any parts of his journey, which I'm very tempted to do right now, let's welcome none other than Mr. Deepak Jalan to our podcast.
Thank you Antara. Thank you. I'm so glad to have you here.
अपने इंटरव्यू में एक बहुत सुंदर जापानीज प्रोवर्ब बोली थी. एंड आपने कहा था कि द जापानीज प्रोवर्ब गोज लाइक, इफ वन कैन डू इट यू कैन डू इट, but if one cannot do it, you must do it.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. Because जैसे कि मैं आपके इंट्रोडक्शन में भी बोल रही थी कि the pen industry was not considered the most glamorous industry. How much will you make by selling a 10 rupee pen? भगवद गीता में भी बार बार कृष्ण जी अर्जुन को वही समझाते हैं कि sometimes our mind behaves as the greatest enemy. So sir, जब लोगों ने सीमाएं देखी, how did you see possibilities? How did you have that strength and conviction कि नहीं, I will take this company so far?
So Antara, you started with a shairi. So I will also start with a shairi.
Yes.
Yeah. It goes like this. जूते फटे पहनकर आसमान पे चढ़े थे.
अच्छा.
जूते फटे पहनकर आसमान पे चढ़े थे. हौसले हमारे हमेशा औकात से बड़े थे.
Wow.
When I joined my father's business, we are three brothers. I'm the eldest. So उस समय एक ऐसा था, being the elder son, you are obliged to, help your father or join your family business.
बिल्कुल.
So, with that thought, I, joined my father's business. And, but as you mentioned that, उस समय हमारी इंडस्ट्री को इतना रिकॉग्निशन नहीं था. एंड वो द पेन बनाता है तो दे विल नॉट इवन लुक एट यू. सो आई ऑलवेज फेल्ट uncomfortable. And but when I joined, I told myself that we must make our business recognized. और जिससे लोग हमारी इज्जत करें, हमारी कंपनी की इज्जत करें, हमारी ब्रांड की इज्जत करें, हमारी इज्जत करें. So that was the goal or objective with which I started my journey. I traveled a lot, overseas. I could see the potential in the industry, even though the pen industry in India was very small, not recognized, but worldwide, overseas, it was quite significant industry. So I got inspiration from, there, like we tied up with a brand called Uniball from Japan, Mitsubishi.
We all remember that.
So when I saw their size, I felt that yes, we also had that kind of a possibility, or opportunity, or potential. Yeah, those things also inspired me that yes, we can do something which will make people recognize us.
And you've so successfully done that.
मुझे अभी भी याद है कि when we were kids तो हमें we started by using Link Ocean Gel.
Right.
And then class 7-8 में मेरे नाना जी ने मुझसे कहा कि नहीं, अच्छा तुम अभी Link Executive में पहुंच गई हो, अभी तुम थोड़ी बड़ी हो गई हो. And then 11-12 में जब Uniball मेरा तो विषय कितना महंगा है, we used to find it a bit expensive. तो हम उसको बहुत किसी को लेन नहीं करते थे. So it's been such a part of our journey. It's just indescribable.
So yeah, I'll start from the start. What I call as your first Kurukshetra, maybe. So just like you mentioned, when you started being the eldest son, you joined business, and with every generation joining the business, there is always a difference of opinion. And likewise was yours. What I read in your journey, that the ideas that you brought along were not immediately accepted by your father. The idea of spending heavily on advertising, the idea of making the company listed. But then, of course, things fell in place. And now almost, if I can say, that life is like a circle, and now you're facing the same, and your new generation is joining business. So what you faced with your father, probably now you're facing with your son. So what reminds me is the exact situation what Arjun was, that he was in a dilemma. So his dilemma was never between right and wrong. If it was between right and wrong, it is never a dilemma.
Right. Yeah.
Dilemma was because it was between right and right.
Right and right, yes.
So one was his duty towards his loved ones, which was his grandfather, his guru.
Right.
And one was a duty towards something which he believed was genuinely right, correct, which was his dharma.
Right.
And Krishna never asked him to abandon relationships. That even if there's someone on the other side, it's not that you abandon relationships, but don't abandon dharma.
Yes.
So what the question comes is that how did you handle these two situations, since you have seen both sides of the coin? And of course, it can go as an advice to people who are in a similar position of yours, that since seeing both the sides, you are much better equipped to answer this question, that how do we ensure that the professional disagreements don't spill over into personal disagreements?
Lives,
And that is what exactly Krishna wanted Arjun to take that lesson. So in real life, you're almost put in the same situation.
First of all, I would like to say that my generation, or maybe even yours, it was such a generation that हम लोग को माँ बाप से भी डर लगता था और अभी बच्चों से भी डर लगता है, you know. So
that is true.
No, today's generation they don't care. I mean, ठीक है, you know, fathers are like friends. So I think it's a unique generation.
Yes.
I always feared my father, and but of course I had my own ideas. But I've been really lucky that you know, after initial hesitance, he would agree to you know, my thoughts, even if he was not you know, fully convinced.
Yeah.
So yeah, so how do I relate this today is I do the same, you know, when Rohit, my son, he has some ideas which I do not agree.
Exactly.
Then I think go back to those days and then I let him do it and thinking that क्या होगा, you know, थोड़ा नुकसान हो जाएगा, वो सीख लेगा थोड़ा. You know, if I know that of course you can't jump with your 2 feet in the water, so I let him do it. And so I always love experimenting. मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि भी ठीक है, okay, even though you know I'm not fully convinced, but if he's successful, it's very good for the company, for the family, and if he's not successful, he will learn his lesson.
Something, exactly.
So which is also, you know, in itself is quite good. So this is how I manage, you know, the situation.
So that's great, because once you start looking at failure as failure, then this understanding will not come.
Right.
So failure is always a stepping stone towards success. So once we
Absolutely.
start looking at it that way,
Right.
probably we can, you know, avoid these disagreements from the professional ones spilling over into personal ones.
Yeah. So you know, I think it is important for everyone to make mistakes. फादर बोलता है वो हम लोग को गले उतरता ही
नहीं उतरता.
You know, हर जनरेशन की ये
Same है, same.
So जब तक हम खुद गलती नहीं करेंगे,
Yes.
तब तक हम सीखेंगे नहीं. You
That
know,
is true.
I have done many mistakes. My father said that this is not going to help, but I did. I failed. But I think, yeah, this is a learning process
Part of the
and
journey.
part of life.
Without falling, you can't rise.
Right, yeah. So
once
I
you're
think
not attached to that falling part, then this
Yes.
handling this situation becomes easy.
right. So I'm always open कि भी ठीक है, चलो गलती करो, कोई हर्जा नहीं है.
Great. That's a great way to handle the situation.
Yes.
सर, आपने अपनी सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू एक बहुत सुंदर कपलेट आपने शेयर की थी, जिसमें वो ऐसा था कि जिसको तूफानों से उलझने की आदत हो मोहसिन, उस ऐसी कश्ती को खुद समुद्र दुआ देती है. And आपको याद होगा, if I'm
Of
just
course, it's a very recent one.
very
Yeah.
recent one, so you can
Yes.
see I'm a big time
Very-
stalker of
Oh,
your
I'm so glad that I have some followers.
of course.
Not some. That's your humility that you are saying that.
So हम अक्सर you know, even in द भगवद गीता, श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन को समझाते हैं कि ऐसा नहीं है कि सब कुछ एकदम स्मूथ जाएगा. देयर विल बी उतार चढ़ाव, देयर विल बी वेरी मेनी ट्रायल्स एंड ट्रिबुलेशंस इन योर लाइफ, बट इफ यू हैव स्ट्रेंथ एंड कन्विक्शन एंड इफ यू नो दैट यू आर फॉलोइंग द पार्ट ऑफ धर्मा, ऑफ राइटियसनेस, देन जो सफ़र है और जो सफ़र के साथ जो लोग हैं या जो सर्कमस्टांस है, वो भी हो सकता है उस टाइम फेवरेबल नहीं हो, लेकिन इन हाइंडसाइट वो भी तुम्हें एक्चुअली आशीर्वाद दे रही होती है, एंड वो हमें बाद में रियलाइज होता है. तो सर, आपकी ज़िंदगी में कभी ऐसा हुआ है कि you know, right from the time when you were just 7 years old and you came to Calcutta to now when, you know, Link has become such a global brand, it's gone to Europe and the US and everywhere, ऐसा कोई हुआ है कि, you know, you felt like, oh, this is a storm in my life, or maybe not like a storm, but maybe like a problem?
कोई बड़ा storm तो I cannot recall, but you know, definitely जो जर्नी होती है किसी भी आदमी की is not easy, you know, like there are more failures than success.
बिल्कुल.
But you know, the success is only visible. So it's never an overnight success, and there have been moments and you know, when I felt that, you know, we are not moving, like we are not going ahead. The revenues are stagnant, the profits are declining. So there have been several moments, several
Yes.
such moments. I always believed that perseverance always pays. And as you must have, since you've been following me a little bit, I always believe in that Chinese bamboo story.
Yes, of course.
कि आपको लग रहा है कि कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, बट कुछ तो हो रहा है, जमीन के नीचे कुछ हो रहा है. Then suddenly you see the fruit. So I've always believed in that कि भी हमको as गीता में भगवान ने कहा है कि भी कर्म करते जाओ, don't get attached to the results, outcome. Yeah, unconsciously maybe following that.
Yes.
ये कि भाई ठीक है, हमको the industry has so much potential, कभी तो फल मिलेगा. So you have to keep trying and keep doing your bit. And so that's how I overcame those challenging moments.
But Bhaiya, what do you think you can give one good advice to people who are let down by failures or temporary setbacks in their life? I would not call it failures, but they consider it as a failure, and then take extreme steps also.
Right.
People go into anxiety, depression,
Right.
even suicides for that matter is nothing but when they take one failure as the entire life and they are willing to give it up also.
I have this belief that Antara ने उसी से start किया with that Japanese proverb. तो मुझे तो कोई in my company also कभी कोई बोलता है कि सर ये possible नहीं है, तो मैं ये बोलता हूँ तब तो ये करना ही है. ये so somehow I have got that ये kind of a mindset. So this would be my advice to the new generation that आप जो भी करो conviction के साथ करो and सफलता मिलेगी. Sooner or later सफलता मिलेगी. I think one should never give up. Keep trying and making efforts. And लगे रहेंगे तो there will be.
So लगे रहो, that is the main thing.
yes,
लगे रहो. It is failure is never a permanent thing. Just like success is probably never permanent, even failure is not permanent. Everything comes and goes.
Failure is only learnings, I would say.
Yes.
So I give this example at times at boxing ring mein, when two people are boxing, you don't lose when you fall.
Right, yeah.
You lose when you don't rise up again.
Rise up again. Absolutely.
So we just need to rise up again and continue the
Yes.
match.
Absolutely.
Great. So Bhaiya, you mentioned about the Chinese bamboo example. Even I use it at times for a different purpose. So I'll narrate why I use it. So when I speak to these young people, explore the Gita, explore the principles. So one question has come up many times to me, that does the law of karma really work? It came from a youngster who had just started his business. Unfortunately, one of the vendors siphoned off his money. And so he was saying कि मेरा पैसा तो मार लिया और खुद वो ऐश कर रहा है. So where is law of karma? So then I explained him with this example that there are two seeds. One is a sweet potato seed. If you plant it today, you will see the stem tomorrow itself coming out. That's how fast it grows. And one is the bamboo, Chinese bamboo story, that if you put it right now, it will not be seen for years. But then something is happening inside. It is not that law of karma is not acting. And then suddenly after say 5 years or something, it starts coming out. So at times karma is instant.
Yeah.
And at times it takes its own time.
It takes its own
yeah,
time.
but it will work.
Right.
So in your story, of course, it's in a different context, which you already mentioned, that about perseverance. So now here, I would in fact like to ask you that perseverance is of course important, but just like Krishna asks Arjun to be persistent and committed to your work, at the same time he asks that you should not be attached to your work,
right?
Not to only the result, but also to the process.
Right.
So where do you think the perseverance can be converted into attachment, that I am not seeing results, but because of my ego, I'm still doing the same thing again and again. तो perseverance और ego के बीच में line कैसे कोई draw करेगा? Because there are many people who may be in this phase that they're not seeing anything outside. But how do they keep persevering, and whether that perseverance becomes from a source of ego or attachment? how to distinguish that and how to, what advice आप दे सकते हो?
Right. It's a very tricky thing, but I would say that perseverance is important. But as I mentioned, that you have to have conviction,
Yes.
and of course, the ego should not really come in between. So we have had such experiences that
Exactly.
I had the dream of having a stationary retail chain stores
Yes.
across the
Thousands.
country.
Yes.
1,000 stores.
Yeah, and we had at one point 20 stores, including Bombay, Bangalore. But I realized that the model which we were having, and I mean, I didn't see much future into that. And so we closed down most of them, and today, until recently, we had only 4 stores,
Yes.
and those were also not making profit, but we were just having them as experience center, for our brand. So yes, while perseverance is important, I think
Yes.
the attachment to something which you feel has repeatedly failed, I think a point that you should analyze, how much more should I
Introspection
give
is
to
important.
this. It is important, definitely.
In fact, that is why I asked you the question, is because while you had the perseverance to pursue a brand or a project like Pentonic,
Yeah.
but you had the, this thing to let go of so many
Yes. Office
other
Link.
products which failed,
Yes.
including the link stores that we're mentioning.
Yeah.
And hence I thought that you're the right person to give this
Right.
guidance to, especially the youth who are
Right.
venturing into business.
Yeah.
Where does perseverance convert into attachment or ego?
Right. Yeah.
Not to the result, but to the process itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'll keep doing. So there is a thin line between perseverance and getting attached.
Yes.
So one needs to analyze, introspect, and not
Right.
let your decisions be driven by ego.
Sir, I watched a very beautiful Link factory documentary recently, जिसमें मैंने देखा कि बहुत सारे एस्पेक्ट्स दिखाए जा रहे थे फैक्ट्री के, लेकिन जो मुझे बहुत खूबसूरत लगा वो था कि 700 महिलाएं, they were working so, like, they were working so hard,
Right.
and they had these hair nets, and वो products को assemble कर रहे थे,
Right.
and वो rejection box, and they were basically doing quality check, which is so important. कुछ सालों पहले I remember this ad on TV, जिसमें एक छोटी बच्ची होती है जो लिंक, वो एग्जाम लिखने के लिए वो पेन लेके अपने घर के बाहर निकलती है, एंड साथ ही साथ there's a comparison with the महिला सैनिक, जो आपको याद होगा ये ad, and she's going with her gun, and
Right.
it says that link for exam warriors.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But coming back to महिला शक्ति, especially because हमारे शास्त्रों में अगर आप द्रौपदी को देखें, उनके स्ट्रेंथ को, वैलर को कितना समझाया गया है. इनफैक्ट इट सेड दैट द एंटायर महाभारत वॉर टुक प्लेस बिकॉज ऑफ an Amba or a Draupadi. And अगर आप सीता माँ को देखें तो her her patience that my husband is coming. Right. So don't you feel, sir, that you're not just creating pens, but also like making a mark in women empowerment, and how important is Nari Shakti, Women Shakti for you and the Link family?
There were moments when you felt that we are not going anywhere. But at that time, it was also comforting that we are running families of 1,000 people.
Yes.
And most of them are women. So that gave you that शक्ति also कि चलो यार कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, होगा. 1,000 लोगों का घर तो चल रहा है.
बिल्कुल.
So yeah, I think that gives us a lot of satisfaction that we are able to provide that many jobs and to the female workers. And
this actually reminds me one of the learnings of the Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna told Arjun, that whenever you're doing your duty, keeping yourself aside and for the larger purpose, for the society, for the community,
Right.
then whatever you do will bring you that peace or happiness. It's not
Yeah.
always that success will will only give you that peace or happiness.
Right.
If you're doing your duty for the larger interest, just like you mentioned that कुछ नहीं भी हो रहा हो तो 1000 लोगों का परिवार तो चल रहा है.
Right.
So that is in one way for a larger interest, and I could see that, you know, glitter on your face, that how satisfied you were or are because of this concept that you can actually support so many families.
Right.
Great, Bhaiya. So when we talk about Link and Mr. Deepak Jalan, so we cannot not talk about Pentonic, the success story. It's one of the biggest success stories in the pen industry for sure, but even all across. So what I found intriguing was that when I was reading the story that was available, that how every nook and corner of the business community was against this idea. Be it people from your own company, your maybe the vendors, the distributors, and all the industry pundits kind of rejected this idea.
Right.
But like you were mentioning just in the last question, that conviction is important.
Yeah.
So you had that conviction, and of course you came out as a winner, and probably it is one of the transforming moments for the entire company.
Right, absolutely.
So now what brings me to the Gita angle, what Bharata and Gita teaches us. If you look at the story, then Krishna and Duryodhan both were equally convinced that they are right.
Yes.
Right? And Duryodhan was convinced even if the consensus was against him, just like in your case when it was Pentonic, the consensus was against you. Duryodhan ko sabne samjhaya ki bhai mat karo, mat karo, mat karo.
Yeah.
But still he was, even after seeing the facts, he was convinced that no, he will only win. So again, sir, a difficult question in terms of drawing lines, because we can learn so much from you because you've seen there and been there and done everything. So again, the question comes that this conviction, how do we know that it is coming from wisdom and it is again not driven by ego? Just like in case of Krishna and Duryodhan.
Right.
And being convinced in a matter, again, just like perseverance we talked in the last question, again being convinced about something, how do we make sure that we are not becoming a Duryodhan unknowingly? Maybe not consciously,
Right, yeah.
but unknowingly we may be becoming that.
Right.
So with the background of the Pentonic story, please share some of that also. What happened and how it happened and how it became a success.
So Nishant, Pentonic has been really, I would say, a transforming story, not for just Link, but also for our industry.
That's nice.
You know, at that point of time, it was like 2018, when we launched Pentonic, and the industry was really struggling with the revenue growth as well as with profitability, because our industry is like a very low entry barrier. So we were not making profits, and as a result, we were not able to invest much in the brand building.
Yes.
And as a result, we were not growing revenues. So uske pehle, of course, I had already tried, Shah Rukh Khan and IPL. Of course, it's been always my endeavor to keep investing in the brand, so that, people, our brand is the top of the mind brand, when people think of a pen. We tried with several products for several years, but they did not work. And then Pentonic came in 2018, and we did our market research, consumer facing research, and people liked the product at a certain price point, at which we wanted to launch the product. If we are successful at this price point, and then probably this could be a breakthrough product for us. And since we were struggling for last couple of years, so we had no other choice also. So we had already did our homework, as I mentioned, that we did the consumer research, and people liked the product and they agreed to the price point. But as you know that within the company, because they know the industry much more than anybody else, so everyone said कि sir ये price में ये product नहीं चलेगा. I always tell my team that तुम लोगों का ये जो experience है ना, ये तुम लोग के लिए अभिशाप है. Sometimes you have to unlearn things.
Yes.
So when you know more, then you think that मैं जो जानता हूँ वो काफी है. And so I always tell my people, यार हम लोग इतना मेहनत करके, इतना इन्वेस्टमेंट करके एक नया प्रोडक्ट डेवलप करते हैं और तुम लोग तुरंत ही बिना ट्राई किए उसका कुंडली बना देते हो. So we must try first. और उसके बाद में, so our job is to make our product available to the consumer
Yes.
through a retail point of sale. उसके बाद में अगर कंज्यूमर ने नहीं पिक किया या नहीं रिपीट किया,
जी.
we cannot do much about it. But the first thing is that आप पहले ही अगर बोल दोगे कि सर ये प्रोडक्ट तो चलेगा ही नहीं, so where did you give chance to the consumer to try it? So for Pentonic, I interestingly, when I got all this negative feedback, I told myself कि अगर इन लोग से लॉन्च करवाया, इनका कन्विक्शन ही नहीं है, so ये प्रोडक्ट बेचारा चलेगा ही नहीं. So incidentally एक एकदम फ्रेश लड़का था, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, he had recently joined Link, and I called him. मैंने कहा यार को एक प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च करना है. You are a chartered accountant, but I know that if you want to remain a chartered accountant your whole life, then there's no need.
Yes.
But if you want to get exposure of every aspect of business, for any business, sales is very important. So would you launch this product?
Okay.
And he said yes.
Wow.
And since he had no baggage, no fear, हमारे सेल्समैन जो ज्यादा जानते हैं ना, उनको तो ये फियर है कि मैं जाऊंगा दुकान में, दुकान वाला बोलेगा कि रे ये कोई योर प्राइस इज हाई, इसको तो ये कोई फियर नहीं है. एंड ही वेंट टू द मार्केट विद नो बैगेज, एंड उसको तो ये है कि भी सर ने बोला है तो हमको तो प्रोडक्ट को लॉन्च करना है. एंड द फर्स्ट डे वी गॉट अ like more than 90% kind of a productivity. So we were quite encouraged. तो हमने फिर उसको बॉम्बे भेजा, फिर दिल्ली भेजा, फिर all the big towns. We sent him for few days. So it was a process of about 4 months that he launched in major 6 towns or metro cities, and from everywhere we got that 90% productivity.
Wow.
Awesome.
So 90% productivity for a new product is very rare.
Yes.
Okay.
For any company, for any brand. अगर हिंदुस्तान लीवर भी अगर कोई नया प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च करेगा और वो 100 दुकान में गया और उसको 90 दुकान से ऑर्डर मिल जाए, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है. Then we realized कि भाई लग रहा है कि ये ब्रेक थ्रू प्रोडक्ट है, and now we must scale it up.
Yes.
Because अगर हम इसको scale it up नहीं करेंगे तो organically हमको काफी टाइम लग जाएगा, और in the meantime the competition will copy.
Yes.
Exactly.
So really you have to scale it up vertically. Normally क्या होता है कि हमारे इंडस्ट्री में या कोई भी इंडस्ट्री में you scale up gradually. Yeah. और तो मे बी थोड़ा वर्टिकल भी हो सकता है, बट ग्रेजुअली होता है. बट व्हेन आई saw the potential of the product based on this sample launch, I told myself that we have to scale it up vertically.
Yes.
So I had a discussion with my son Rohit, and some disagreement. Rohit said, Papa, let's not invest so much in additional capacity. We can do it one by one. So I said, no beta, because the lead time is longer if we do it one by one, and the competition will catch up. So it is better that we take that risk, because all the signs, they are in favor of the product.
So that is probably the conviction from wisdom, I would say, that you have all the facts and figures.
Absolutely. And we already had some products which were doing large volumes in limited markets. So that was a benchmark for us.
Yes.
कि limited markets में अगर आपके जो लेगेसी प्रोडक्ट है वो इतना अच्छा कर रहे हैं, I mean इतना वॉल्यूम कर रहे हैं, तो जो प्रोडक्ट ऑल इंडिया एक्सेप्टेड हुआ है उसका वॉल्यूम तो उससे 4 गुना होना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल.
बट हम तो अभी स्केल अप की जो बात कर रहे हैं वो तो अभी भी उससे कम है. So that wisdom, you may say, gave us that confidence to scale it up. I mean, invest in the scaling up of the capacity. So see, today even like I've been in the industry for more than 40 years. I still believe that I don't know much about the industry. I cannot predict which product will be successful, which will not. So the best way is, do test marketing.
So now what about the conviction versus consensus? A bit of the internal feeling that was going on.
So of course now everybody, in the company, their belief in my conviction has increased. ऐसे भी boss का तो boss सच बोलता है तो भी boss is always right.
Boss is always
But
right.
then internally उनको काफी बड़ा conviction या confidence की सर का जो thought process है वो
The शायरी actually came true ना. तूफानों से उलझने की आदत हो मोहसिन,
yes.
वैसी कश्ती को खुद समुद्र भी दुआ देती है.
Absolutely.
So this literally was the.
Exactly.
और आप एक बार ये भी बता रहे थे कि चेन्नई की एक ब्रांड थी पेंटाटोनिक करके, जिन्होंने केस फाइल करे था कि आपने हमारी नेम को यूज किया है, एंड आपने लास्ट में उसकी खरीद लिया पेंटाटोनिक को.
Yeah, so that was only the beginning of, it must be April month. And so, of course, we had no idea that, such brand existed because they were hardly
कितने
doing.
brands होते हैं?
They were hardly doing anything in Chennai. So they sent us a legal notice, and then I realized, यार इससे लड़ाई करके फायदा नहीं है क्योंकि अभी तो हमारा प्रोडक्ट का पोटेंशियल हमको मालूम है, अभी उसको मालूम नहीं है. So if I buy him out today, it will come very cheap.
Yes.
And अगर ये इसमें मैंने टाइम खराब कर दिया 6 महीना साल भर लड़ाई की, तब तक मेरा प्रोडक्ट तो हीरो बन जाएगा. Then his expectation would be will increase.
They will want to take more from you.
Right. Yeah. So even though at that point of time whatever we paid was much more than what he deserved, but we thought that would be wise to really acquire the brand. So yeah, that I think really helped us.
Amazing story, sir. And yes, right decisions at the right time. You have to not just be convinced, but make sure that it is coming from facts and figures, and then give your 100% to it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like you mentioned, you keep trying and not really let down by the results.
Right.
And at the same time, you can withdraw. So it's a combination of all the characteristics that actually Gita talks about, that be focused on your efforts. Don't get attached. Don't be driven by ego. So we can see the glimpses of all these features in your journey.
Yeah, unconsciously,
yes. So that's what we say, that most of our journeys have glimpses of Gita, and therefore if we study it, we can actually use it more consciously.
And you can relate to that.
And then your conviction goes even higher, and your effort level also goes higher. That's what the entire effort is of this podcast, OMG, to make people realize this, that we are already partially living Gita life somewhere. Once we become aware of it, then things can become even better.
सर मुझे याद है कि हमारे स्कूल डेज में वी यूज्ड टू गेट वेरी एक्साइटेड व्हेन स्पेल लिंक कॉम्पिटिशंस हुआ करती थी. आई यूज्ड टू गेट वेरी एक्साइटेड कि ये स्पेल लिंक अनाउंस हो गया. देन देयर वाज समथिंग कॉल्ड राइट और वैल्यूज, जिसमें लिंक की तरफ से देयर यूज्ड टू बी लाइक हैंडराइटिंग कॉम्पिटिशंस
विद सम moral stories.
Yes.
Right.
And even in the Bhagavad Gita it's mentioned that जो भी करो, you have to look at a larger purpose also.
Right.
Profit is there, but then you have to think about a purpose, a larger goal. So, sir, when you were launching these kind of initiatives in schools, then what was your thought process at that time?
Antara, of course, I must tell you, or you must be knowing that our core TG, I mean target group of consumers, is students, definitely. So honestly, we have to, engage with them on a regular basis. So it's mostly a branding exercise. When we launched spelling inspired by that spell bee in the US.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so we thought that there was no such competition in India. So let's own that space, and so we did this spelling competition for a very long time. And coming to the Writo values, so handwriting competition or handwriting contest is like a very given thing for a
Yes,
pen category.
Yes, yes.
But so we were doing it for some time, and then when it came to my notice that we were doing the handwriting competition, and I've always been very particular about the moral values, ethical practices, but आजकल moral science as a subject है कि नहीं है, I'm not very sure. And so I thought कि हम उनको जो भी लिखने को दें वो अगर एक moral science का chapter हो तो at least they get
something.
learning.
Yes.
I'm sure that it might have helped a little bit.
Because अगर मुझे अभी भी ये चीज याद है,
Right, yeah.
I have graduated from लक्ष्मीपत सिंघानिया academy, अभी literally 10 साल हो गए हैं, and हमें हमेशा वो सेट मिलती थी पेन्स की,
right.
and it used to be so exciting, and मुझे अभी भी याद है, this is literal proof of the fact that it had created an impact in so many of us today.
Yeah, once I went to modern high school because my daughters studied from there, and I was waiting in the waiting room, and I saw several pictures of the spelling, with modern high winning the trophy, and I was so happy to see that,
So
in a school like
unknowingly.
modern high school.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I again take a very gray area, a question that has no clear line, but it's very important. So like just you mentioned about ethics, and I've also seen you saying that integrity is non-negotiable. That's one of your values.
Right.
But be it intellectual property rights or the fairness in the business, you've always maintained that.
Yeah.
But we all know that it comes at a commercial cost.
Yeah.
So again, when I was looking at this ethics thing, now the question that comes to my mind is ethics versus dharma. Normally we coincide the two and we think that they are the same thing and identical. But then when we go back to Mahabharata and Gita, we see two examples. Bhishma Pitama was always ethical, maintained his vow throughout his life, but then ultimately he was supposed to be, or ultimately landed on the adharma side. And on the other hand, Krishna always been unethical as he's claimed to be, but whatever he did was to uphold the dharma. So in business, sir, in practical life, do you think that we draw this line between ethics and dharma, or do we just unconsciously mix the two and consider both the same thing? With that background, I'll ask you a couple of questions. That till what price do you think you should be ethical? Number two, this can also be not only the advice to others but also to your next generation to carry on the values. And thirdly, the ethics versus dharma, that has there been any point where you can distinguish between the two in practical life, in business life?
Ethics is, I think, above everything. As far as in one of my posts on Instagram, I have mentioned that being right and being fair are two different things.
Yes.
You may be right in what you're doing, but if you're not fair, it is not enough. If we talk of Mahabharata, and Yudhishthir is always known to be like speaking truth always, like Yudhishthir ka wo, and Dharmraj, and people swear by his name. So interestingly, when in the Kurukshetra, when he mentioned
Ashwathama.
Ashwathama, he was right,
Yes.
but was he fair?
Technically, he was very right.
Right?
Yeah.
So was he fair?
True.
So this is how I would explain.
Yes.
You
So
know?
I think you use a very day-to-day word, but actually right means ethic and fair means dharma to some extent.
Right, absolutely.
If we can, in very easy terms, if we want to say, not getting to the nitty-gritties of it, but
Right.
what you meant was ethics is something which is theoretical
Right.
and by the books, but ultimately you have to be fair, which is more towards dharma. Just like the
Right.
example you gave of Yudhishthir or be it Krishna, he was
Yeah.
never right.
Right.
He was always wrong.
So
But
it's
he
another
was-
thing. Yeah, it is another thing that was a need of the hour.
Yes.
But this is how I would explain it. That
Absolutely. Very well explained actually.
yeah.
That is why we want these insights,
Right,
because
yeah.
आप इतना जब believe करते हो, because many people ask this question, ethics in business,
Yeah.
very difficult to answer it because it comes at a huge cost.
Right.
But you mentioned a very very easy terms which people can easily understand.
Right.
It's better to be fair than to be right.
Yes.
I think that simplifies
Yeah. So just,
the equation.
Just being right is not enough.
Yes,
Yeah.
simplifies the equation to a great extent. कि ethics और dharma में किसी को नहीं समझ में आता कि क्या ethics और क्या dharma. But if we use these simple words, right and fair, I think that actually clarifies a lot. But now the second question was, to what extent do you go? And you say that ethics is all for me. But has there been any situation where you actually had to face a huge commercial cost towards it?
I've learned this from my father that we never copy products. So generally हमारी इंडस्ट्री में particularly in India, अगर लिंक का कोई प्रोडक्ट बहुत चल रहा है तो even we are not the number one brand in India, but जो number one brand है वो भी हमारा प्रोडक्ट का कॉपी कर लेता है. I have this learning from my father कि हमको किसी का कॉपी नहीं करना. You can call it ethical practice, in a way, because
Actually,
copying is not ethical.
Yes.
Yeah.
it may be legal but not ethical.
Yeah, it may be legal but not ethical.
Yeah.
So there is one incident that our new product development team, they copied a product from a very known brand, and when it came to my table, I found that it was exact copy of the competition, and I said, no, we can't launch this product. We have to do significant changes to this product so that even if it costs more, even if it increases the cost, it should not look like that competition product. कोई ये नहीं बोले कि यार ये तो उसके जैसा लगता है. That is
True.
that is a philosophy we have been following. We made changes and that increased our cost. As a result, it increased our selling price.
Yes.
We struggled for few years to establish that product. But I'm so happy to say that today, even after 20 years of its launch, that is our almost number one selling product
Which product is
after Pentonic. It's called Linc Glycer.
Okay.
And so इससे एक learning ये है कि फायदा होता है ये ethical practices का, ये फायदा भी होता
Long
है.
run फायदा होता है. Immediately you may see it as a commercial
हाँ.
cost, but ultimately these values pay in the long run.
So मुझे ये मालूम है, I'm sure कि अगर हम उसका कॉपी का लॉन्च कर दिए होते तो वो प्रोडक्ट सक्सेसफुल होता ही नहीं. और हमने वो गलत काम नहीं किया. एंड देन आई आल्सो हैव दिस पॉलिसी, पेंटोनिक को सबने कॉपी किया, हमारे कॉम्पिटिटर्स ने. मजे की बात ये है कि जितने भी हमारे सारे कॉम्पिटिटर्स हैं, पियर्स, दे ऑल आर माय फ्रेंड्स.
Yes.
सो ऑफ द फील्ड वी आर फ्रेंड्स and we'll have dinner together, we party together, but on the field we are fierce enemies. तो वो रोहित सेठ कि पापा आपके तो सारे फ्रेंड है, आप तो किसी पे लीगल एक्शन भी नहीं ले सकते. ये he was like very upset with me.
Yes, of course.
So I told him कि रोहित, you should be happy that they are copying your product.
Yes.
You should worry when they start innovating.
Yeah.
So don't worry, let them copy. You develop a product, another product, which they will copy in future.
Yeah. So you're always one step ahead.
Yeah, so don't waste your time, going legal and fighting, because एक तो bandwidth तो होता है ना. So आप creativity पे काम करोगे कि आप लड़ाई झगड़ा करोगे.
Actually beautiful, because it's very difficult, otherwise ego इतना हावी होता है कि how dare he copy my product, छोड़ूंगा नहीं, देख लूंगा, but actually you can let go, and when you let go of these negative emotions, then your positive emotions come into play.
Right.
And growth can never be in a negative situation. No matter how much energy you put it, ultimately it's negative.
Yeah, so you have to be constructive.
In fact, there's a very famous quote that imitation is the best compliment.
Right, absolutely.
वो क्यों copy करता है?
हाँ, because आपके product में दम है तो copy कर रहे हैं.
And to come to my final question for this evening is that sir, अभी जो इंडिया में ऐसी एक दौर हो रही है जहाँ पर वी आर रीडिस्कवरिंग आवर ओन रूट्स. तो अभी जब मैं बड़ी हो रही थी तो मैंने कभी भी किसी को बोलते नहीं देखा कि आई एम गोइंग टू अ गीता क्लास और आई एम प्रैक्टिसिंग आयुर्वेदा. बट पता नहीं अभी everybody is like, no, I have a Gita class going on in my corner. I am going for a Gita lecture. I'm going for a chanting class. लेकिन सर आपने बहुत खूबसूरती से कहा था अपने एक इंटरव्यू में कि आपको बहुत प्राउड फील होता है कि जब पेंटोनिक एंड लिंक में मेड इन इंडिया लिखा रहता है, because you can easily import. So do you think, sir, that by having that belief that let's make it in our own country, you are also contributing towards this Atmanirbhar Bharat?
Well, my contribution would be like a drop in the ocean, but definitely there is a pride, when I see a Link pen or a Pentonic pen when I travel overseas.
Yes.
So, of course, it's a matter of pride that Indian products are getting recognition, acceptance in overseas markets. पैसे से ज़्यादा वो जो है ना उसकी कोई बराबरी नहीं है. So I always believe that India has a lot of potential and we can really do much more than what we are currently doing.
Yes.
And I'm a very big patriot, I would say. देशभक्त है कि भी हमारा देश का नाम ऊंचा होना चाहिए. And matter of satisfaction for us that not India but Bengal.
Beyond India.
From Bengal.
So one is beyond India also, and one is within India, it is within Bengal.
Within Bengal, yeah. So we are proud to be a Bengal brand.
So Bhaiya, this is my last question, and of course the last question of the podcast, and I'll go back almost where I began. Bhagavad Gita teaches us that you own nothing, even if be it your health, be it the wealth, be it relationships, even an organization or institution that you spent your entire life building,
right,
is ultimately not yours.
Right,
you're just a custodian. That is what Gita makes us aware.
Right.
And it is where has to be a time when you have to let go of it.
Yes.
So coming back to the first question that I had raised regarding this transition of the family business from one generation to the other, I personally believe the way this transition is handled defines how the overall business will be in the coming generations or the decades. And if the transition is handled in a good manner, then only a Tata or a Birla takes place. It does not happen in one generation.
Right.
So again, coming back to the question that when you took the reins from your father, and now that it's soon the time is coming when you are going to give the reins to the next generation. So what Bhagavad Gita teaches is slightly difficult over here. Number one is that you don't get attached to whatever you have built. That means you let go of it. So you let go of the control that, now it's not my control, you'll give the reins to the next generation. That still may be easy because that is inevitable. The next part is where it becomes more difficult, but if one can achieve that, that is the real source of happiness, if you can say. That is, once you give it back, then you behave like a sakshi or a witness.
Right.
Because the new generation will bring in their ideas, they will bring in their learning curves, like you mentioned, they will make their mistakes, which is a part of the journey.
Right.
But you standing a bit away from it should not get affected by it
Right.
and should behave only like a witness.
Hmm.
So how are you handling the situation, and what advice would you give to those who are in a similar situation?
First of all, I like to tell you that when Rohit joined Link, I sent him to work as a frontline sales staff.
That is beautiful.
So which gave him a lot of exposure, a lot of learning, and a lot of confidence.
Yes.
So today he says that Papa, अपना माल कहीं नहीं बिकता है ना, तो आप मुझे वहाँ भेज दो, मैं माल बेच के आ जाऊँ.
Oh, wow.
And similarly, my nephews also, they also worked as a frontline sales staff and got the learnings from the market. Market जो सिखाता है वो उसका कोई मुकाबला नहीं. So this is how I try to groom my children.
Yes.
Then coming to transition, at this point of time, like I've already taken a back seat in the sense that the existing business must be driven by the new generation. And at the same time, I'm trying to develop or explore new businesses for the company, so that, because we have a large family, me and my son, then my brother and his two sons. So there are several family members, and so the endeavor is that, let's make the pie bigger and have, multiple businesses.
Yes.
So that, everyone can handle one, vertical or one business. So yeah, I think the transition is going to be smooth. I've been totally out of the day-to-day operations, as you must have seen that I didn't receive any calls.
So are you being able to watch it only as a witness, or do you still get affected by what is happening in the
Of course, I
company?
do get affected, and I do, tell them that, here we are going wrong, and
So as a mentor, you step in.
Yeah,
maybe.
so as a
It's
mentor,
not
I step
complete,
in. Yeah,
complete
but,
sakshi
and of
nahi
course,
hua.
as I said, that I let them make mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Great. So it was amazing, Bhaiya, to have an interaction with you. I don't know how you like the podcast. in
Of course,
terms
yeah,
of-
it's been interesting for me. When Antara approached me, I was very happy. यार कोई तो ये
You
अपना
know, I
interview भी
want
लेने वाला
to
है.
say it in camera that when I wrote a message to uncle, he was like, "Really, me?" And I was like, "Of
That's
course."
too humble of him.
That's-
that we can see from his personality.
Yes.
But there's so much to learn. There's so much of value that you've given. And we talked, I mean, it's supposed to be a Gita podcast, but we talked about ego versus conviction. We talked about perseverance versus attachment. We talked about ethics versus dharma.
Right,
So, and all how it relates in practical real life.
absolutely.
So that is what is for our viewers, that explore the Bhagavad Gita. It's not just a religious text. We hardly talked anything which was religious
right,
in the entire
absolutely,
podcast. It was
yeah.
everything to do with practical life and application. The Kurukshetra war was never a physical war. Even if it was actually symbolic of the conflicts that happen in our daily lives, because the beginning of war is a conflict.
Right,
So that happens with us on a daily basis. In small things like between relations, two big business decisions, the conflicts are always there. And that's how the Bhagavad Gita can help resolve these conflicts.
yes.
So if the viewers have, taken inspiration, even 1%, to go ahead and explore this, I think the purpose of this podcast will be achieved.
And I would like to end by saying that he might have had Shah Rukh Khan as his brand ambassador, but he's undoubtedly the Amitabh Bachchan of the pen industry.
Thank you so much.
And it's been such a pleasure, and because हमने इतनी सारी शायरी आज
Exchange करी है.
exchange की, तो I would like to end with one shairi which it just resonates with me so much with your journey, sir, is that खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर के पहले खुदा बंदे से ये पूछे कि बता तेरी रजा क्या है.
Nice.
So you made yourself so solid with your strength, your conviction कि नहीं हमें कॉपी नहीं करनी है. आज हर बच्चे के नाम पे we are like we grew up with links, and I'm sure the next coming generations will also.
Thank you, Antara.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
so
Veya.
much.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Nishant.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.